when it comes to, family orientations, if I talk about like the cohesive family, I know what you think I'm going to say, but the one that I'm going to get to before I get to the one that you think I'm going to say, we want to talk about the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Oh my goodness, I thought you was talking about. But
Yeah,
go ahead.
yeah, I knew you was going. I knew that. That's why I like to do that. I like to pivot.
My shoulders was flexing. I was leaning forward and
Let
everything.
me tell you something about the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air is a staple in the black culture. If you have not seen any episode of the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, you're bugging. I don't even want to judge your hue of your color, but I'm just saying this is Will Smith's coming out party of him actually showing, hey, I could do more than rap. How you feel about Fresh Prince?
Well, not only that, man. I mean, the longevity of the show. I mean, 6 seasons, 148 episodes, all the cameos out the wazoo, and that was the fact that Quincy Jones, Jones came to Will Smith and asked him, "Hey, what do you think about TV?" And at the time, rappers weren't acting as much. You know what I mean? What you had, MC Hammer?
Yeah,
Ice?
I think it was just there wasn't no rappers that was like
no
complete
rappers
actors
doing it. But Will Smith knocked it out the park. I mean, of course, he's a megastar to this day. But the fact that before all of that, he was lacing up his Jordans and doing the Running Man in Lisa's room.
Yeah, that's very true.
Iconic.
Now, what I can also tell you that the reason why I love this show, because we're gonna talk about cameos, right?
Oh, we're
gonna talk about cameos.
Yeah.
Every single one of the love interests that Will Smith had or that Will character had are considered, top notch.
Top notch now.
Top notch. I mean, we talking about Nia Long here, okay?
Yeah.
That was that was Lisa. You get what I'm saying? Right. But let's not forget about Jasmine Guy. Yeah. Jasmine Guy was the one that was the first one to throw the snaps back and forth. Remember when Vivica Fox was doing all of that? You can't talk to me like that.
I do remember that. I do remember that.
Man, let me tell you, not only that, they even gave Queen Latifah that type of love or that light deal because they was like, yeah, stop disrespecting the big girls. Big girls need love too. Well, this girl right here is one of the ones that was friend zoned, but yet she was still one of them ones on that show. I gotta give that show some love for the cameos.
That, man. I mean, do you remember Tisha Campbell, Jennifer Martin, when they was trapped in the kitchen on prom?
That was real. They was in the basement with him.
Absolutely.
He really saw the true colors of that woman, and that's a life lesson.
Listen, man, she said you can use your nails. Why don't you use your nails? She popped off every one of
them
and handed it to him. Handed it to him.
Yo. Man. Now, if we're gonna talk about the elephant in the room,
let's talk about.
Aunt Viv switched.
This,
yeah. Aunt Viv definitely switched. I also like the fact that there was a big switch in the character, and it still got addressed, even though it's of lighter, or a distaste now. But I did like it when Jazz said, "You know what, Aunt Viv." It's something. You look a little different. Something a little different about you. I can't pinpoint it. I can't fingerprint it. And the last thing that I'm gonna put on it.
Talk to me.
Storyline wise, right? I mean, Will came. Yeah. He got into a fight and his mom got scared. And
Absolutely.
moving with the auntie and uncle in Bel-Air.
Bel-Air.
Was that the theme song?
That's the theme song.
Fire theme song. Can we not add that into there?
Absolutely.
But story wise, he came from Bel-Air. I mean, he came from Philadelphia and he made it to Bel-Air. He even had a choice in one of the seasons to stay at home.
Right.
And he said, no, I'm gonna come back home back.
Right.
So far as him growing up in Bel-Air and him coming of age, it was great.
Yeah.
But that last episode, you just see him in that apartment. I mean, or in that room leaving. Everybody else was moving on to bigger and better things. You never really knew what Will was doing. Cohesion is my problem, man. T-Reid, you got anything else on the show?
Absolutely. I mean, I'm going to speak on the fact that he was standing by himself, and he does stand alone to this day. Box office hits, that was a metaphor. Box office hits, storylines, movies, iconic characters, everything of that nature.
Is that a cultural impact?
Cultural impact, indeed. And the fact that, that story makes sense to this day, because how many of us sent their cousin off or their nephew off or their sons off for better education, better opportunity, and better sports? Listen,
I appreciate my father. I used to not like my father's decision, when he moved us from the hood to a better neighborhood. Now, granted, I was already in college at this time, so I already knew I was in the trenches. But I had a little bit of disdain for being in this area. But let me tell you something. I think one of the best decisions that was made is that I got out.
Oh, yeah.
And that was one of the best decisions for Fresh Prince. Man.
Absolutely.
That's for sure.